You can sleep 8 hours, cancel every plan, spend Sunday doing absolutely nothing, and still wake up tired. Not sleepy. Tired. Because your body stopped. Your brain did not. It kept finishing conversations, rehearsing decisions, and monitoring everything you might have forgotten. Your mind was still at work. There are forms of exhaustion that sleep cannot solve because sleep was never the missing thing. Some tiredness is physical, some is medical. If fatigue stays for weeks or changes how you can live, it deserves proper care, not a philosophical explanation from a video. But there is another kind most people recognize. You close the laptop, yet continue composing replies in the shower. You sit on the sofa, but part of you is measuring how successfully you are relaxing. You take a holiday and spend the first 3 days waiting to become the person who enjoys holidays. The strange part is not that you failed to stop moving. You may have stopped completely. The strange part is that stopping became another assignment. This film is about the invisible night shift inside the mind, why modern rest has begun to resemble work, and what becomes possible when an hour no longer has to improve you. First, the mind keeps a night shift. Work ends on the clock before it ends in the nervous system. An unanswered message remains slightly open. A difficult conversation continues in imaginary revisions. A decision you postponed occupies a small desk somewhere behind your eyes. None of these jobs looks dramatic alone. Together, they create a background shift with no closing time. Psychologists use the term psychological detachment for the experience of being mentally away from work during non-work time. It is not the same as lying down. It is not even the same as doing something pleasant. You can be physically motionless while mentally reporting for duty. Research has repeatedly connected greater detachment with less exhaustion, less fatigue, better sleep, and higher well-being. The important word is not distraction, it is detachment. Distraction temporarily gives the night shift louder music. Detachment tells it that the building is closed. This is why an evening of effortless scrolling can leave you strangely unrested. Very little happened, but nothing truly ended. The body received stillness. The mind never received permission to leave. Second, you became your own supervisor. Earlier forms of work made authority easy to locate. Someone else owned the factory, rang the bell, or told you what had to be done. Modern pressure often speaks in your own voice. You can do more. You could use this hour better. You should become the person you know you could be. The philosopher Byung-Chul calls this figure the achievement subject, a person who experiences constant self-improvement as freedom while also becoming the manager, employee, and disappointed performance reviewer of the same life. In the Burnout Society, he writes, "The achievement subject gives himself over to compulsive freedom, that is, to the free constraint of maximizing achievement." The sentence sounds contradictory because the experience is contradictory. No one is forcing you, and somehow you're never off duty. The old command was, "You must." The new command is more flattering. "You can." But "you can" has no natural finishing line. There's always a healthier body, a cleaner system, a better relationship, a more interesting personality, a more optimized morning. When the supervisor lives inside you, going home does not remove the supervisor. Third, we began pursuing rest. Human beings have always pursued things: food, safety, status, love, a house, a finished piece of work. Pursuit has a grammar: choose a target, measure the distance, apply effort, check progress, arrive. The trouble begins when we use that same grammar for relaxing. Now rest also needs a target, a method, and a satisfactory result. The perfect sleep score, the ideal morning routine, the scientifically correct walk, a holiday with enough meaningful experiences to justify the flight. Even doing nothing acquires instructions. Be present, let go, recover efficiently. And please complete all 3 before Monday. We do not merely rest. We pursue the feeling of having rested, watching ourselves for evidence that it worked. This creates a small but impossible split. One part of you is supposed to surrender while another stands nearby with a clipboard. The person trying to rest is still working, and the inspection changes the experience being inspected. The question, "Am I calm yet?" quietly reintroduces a deadline. Is this helping? Turns attention away from the evening and back toward its expected result. You are not inhabiting the pause. You are waiting for the pause to produce evidence. Byung-Chul makes a similar argument in Vita Contemplativa. When leisure exists only as respite from work, it remains part of work's machinery. We recover so that we can concentrate. We sleep so that we can perform. We take time off so that we can return with more to give. The future becomes the customer of the present, and tonight is expected to deliver a more productive person by morning. Rest fails when the future is still its customer, because genuine rest is not another way of preparing to pursue. It is the temporary end of pursuit. Fourth, rest is not an activity. This helps explain why copying someone else's perfect evening often fails. Recovery research does not identify one universally restorative activity. It describes different experiences, including detachment, relaxation, a sense of control, and even mastery, becoming absorbed in something challenging that belongs to you rather than to your obligations. The original recovery experience research distinguished those 4 patterns across validation samples totaling 930 people. A later meta-analysis drew together 86 publications and more than 38,000 employees. Greater detachment was associated on average with less exhaustion and fatigue, better sleep, and higher life satisfaction. That does not make detachment a miracle cure. It makes the difference between stopping and leaving difficult to ignore. A slow walk may restore one person and irritate another. Cooking can be an administrative emergency on Tuesday and a small holiday on Saturday. A difficult piece of music may be more restful than passive television because it gathers your attention into one place and asks nothing useful from the finished result. The activity is only the container. What matters is the relationship you have to it. Did you choose it? Did the workday follow you inside it? Were you secretly grading the experience? This is good news because it means rest does not require purchasing the correct lifestyle. It may look unimpressive. Repairing something slowly, looking through a window without converting the view into content, talking to a person who does not need a polished version of you. The opposite of work is not always inactivity. Sometimes it is activity without self-exploitation. 5th, useless time is not wasted time. More than a century before notifications, Nietzsche warned, for lack of rest, our civilization is turning into a new barbarism. His complaint was not simply that people work too many hours. It was that restlessness was weakening the contemplative part of human life. The ability to linger long enough for something to mature. That ability is difficult to defend because it produces no immediate evidence. A quiet hour does not issue a certificate. Boredom has no progress graph. Sitting with a thought can resemble failing to have a better thought. So we reach for stimulation and call it rest, or reach for optimization and call it care. Both rescue the hour from appearing useless. But perhaps uselessness is precisely the doorway. Time becomes genuinely yours when it is not auditioning for a role in your future. A meal that is not networking, a walk that is not cardio, a book that will never become a post, a conversation that solves nothing. These moments are not empty. They are full of life that has stopped presenting a business case for itself. True rest is time that does not have to justify itself. 6th, let something be enough. The cruelest response to this video would be to turn genuine rest into a new optimization program, 7 habits of people who are exceptionally good at doing nothing, a spreadsheet for spontaneity, a strict contemplative routine you can fail before breakfast. So this is not a protocol. It is a change in where you place the finish line. End one day deliberately. Write down the task that keeps rehearsing itself, then tell it where it will be met tomorrow. Let a doorway separate work from home even when both happen in the same room. Choose one period that will not be measured. No sleep score in the morning, no step count after the walk, no demand that the book improve you. And when rest feels ordinary, resist correcting it. Rest is allowed to be boring, slightly untidy, and difficult to photograph. Most importantly, stop asking the rested version of you to prove that tonight was worthwhile. You do not need to emerge transformed. You do not need to feel ready for everything. The achievement subject wants every pause to return a profit. Let one pause make a loss. Let one evening disappear without becoming evidence. Let something be enough before exhaustion makes the decision for you. Maybe that is the deeper exhaustion. Not that you have done too much, but that everything has been recruited into doing. Sleep works for focus. Exercise works for energy. Friendship works for resilience. Silence works for creativity. Even joy is asked to improve performance. A human life cannot remain entirely inside that sentence. Some things must be allowed to exist before the words, so that. Tonight, when the work ends, notice whether pursuit simply changes clothes. Notice the supervisor waiting beside the sofa. You do not have to defeat that voice. Defeat would become another project. Just let it speak without giving it a clipboard. The unfinished world will still be there tomorrow. For now, the building can close. Nothing more is required from this hour. Nothing more is required from you. If this gave you a different way to understand your own life, like the video and subscribe to For Humans, I will meet you in the next one.